right, we are going to try this again. I started a video and it just cut off, but we will see what we can come up with here now. All right, so what I'm going to be talking about this afternoon is one of the strategies that's out of my book here. Actually, it's a couple of the strategies rolled into one. And I'm going to be going over briefly the conversion equation evaluator. The reason why I'm doing this, as a couple of folks start jumping on, the reason why I'm doing this video here and now is because I've had the opportunity to talk to so many different business owners over the last couple of weeks, really over the last year, quite frankly. But over the last couple of weeks, I've been really engaged with a lot of different business owners. Now, I primarily work with chiropractors and contractors, HVAC, remodelers, stuff like that. But I'm working with other businesses as well. I'm working with a couple IT companies and some other coaches, quite frankly. And it's just blowing my mind, man. It's almost like retraining, because so many business owners have a misunderstanding of how marketing is supposed to work and who to market to and how to talk to not just the people that need your product or service right now, but people who may need your product or service down the road, and people who don't even know that they need your product or service. That is a huge category of people that many of you are missing out on. So obviously I'm specifically talking to business owners, primarily business owners who are marketing, specifically if you're paying for marketing, and even if you're doing organic marketing. If you don't have this strategy in place, if you don't have this mindset in place, then I assure you, you are wasting time and money. And I appreciate everybody liking the video. Karen, welcome. And I assure you, you are leaving a lot of money on the table and you're wasting your time, even if you're doing organic type of marketing. Now, I've talked about before that you absolutely have to have your market dominating position down. I'm not going to get into the market dominating position right now today. That's for another video that I've already done. By the way, I have a YouTube channel where you can go check that out. Look for Abundance and Prosperity Business Mastery on YouTube, and I will put the link down below. But I'm telling you, what I'm going to share with you today is going to blow your mind, and you're going to realize that you have been missing out on talking to so many people that you could attract to your business and provide your products or services. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the buyer's journey. I know some of you have, but on the buyer's journey, the bottom line is this, and I'll see if you can see my chicken scratch over here in my notes. You've got the buyer's journey over here, and this 1% over here, your buyer starts over here with either not knowing a darn thing about your product, and most of them don't know anything about your product, even though they want your product or not. And then there's the category over there that don't know that they need your product. I'll get into that in just a minute. But this 99%, they're just looking for information. This 1% over here, these folks, they're the ones that their car just broke down and they need a mechanic right now today. Now, some people already have their mechanic that they want to work with, but some don't, especially if you're, and just getting into a new area. Pizza, you don't want a pizza, you go to one of your favorite pizza joints. Those are fine. Those are impulse purchases and emergency purchases. Those fall into the category of the now buyers. Other than that, there's the people that know about your product or service, regardless of what it is. They're out there online and they're searching for the best deal. Let me clarify something. They are not searching for the best price. They're searching for the best deal. And unless you show them the value that you offer in your business and you give them value up front, unless you do that as a business, then you are forcing your prospects to shop on price, because everything else is the same across the board between you and your competitors. Then they're going to choose price. Of course, right? An apple, they're exactly the same. They're going to go for the cheapest one. But if one apple is $1 and the other apple's $1.50, but oh, by the way, it's organic and locally grown, then many people will purchase the organic and locally grown because they want to support their local community and they want something organic as opposed to something that potentially has pesticide in it. It could be organic and locally grown, but they didn't label it that way. You see the difference? This is the difference between your outside perception reflecting your inside reality. The only way you can reflect your outside perception, your inside reality and your outside perception is in your marketing and in word of mouth and what other people are saying about you. So I regress is going down a rabbit hole there. That's why I have my notes so I don't get lost. All right, and I appreciate everybody jumping on, man. John, Eric, Karen, I appreciate all of you. So check this out. These 99% that don't know, I just jotted a couple down here. For instance, HVAC, chiropractor, IT businesses, business to business. Those folks are the categories for the most part. Now, notice I also have HVAC over here in the now buyer, because if my AC goes down in the middle of the summer, then, or in the winter, depending on where you're at, I'm going to be calling an HVAC a 24/7 HVAC and getting them on the line right away. So they fall into both categories. But what do you do for the ones that are just not in an emergency right now? How do you communicate with them? How do you connect with them? And the way that you do that is with our conversion equation. And I have a sheet right here that I use that I evaluate people's marketing with. And on this conversion equation evaluator, if you don't score a 3 or above, your marketing is not going to be successful. And by successful, I mean actually literally making you money, converting leads, not just getting leads. All right. And this particular business, I didn't have the name on this one, scored a 2.4, which means there's some work to be done. It literally means basic ad structure is there. Can't fix it with red line, meaning I can't scratch through a few things. I got to completely revamp it. And that's one that I'm working on right now. So the conversion equation is this. You have to interrupt, you have to engage, you have to educate, and then you offer. Interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. Most businesses, what they do is they kind of interrupt. There might be a headline out there, or say a video of Tiger Woods pops up on your screen. You're going to watch, if you're into golf, you're going to say, oh, Tiger Woods. But then it switches to an Oldsmobile or whatever car that he's advertised, he's in the commercial for. You're going to lose track. They interrupted, but then they lost engagement. Why? Because you may not be looking for a car right now. So what most businesses do is they interrupt and then they go straight to the offer. They interrupt and then they say, buy my stuff. They interrupt and then they say, call me for a free estimate. All of that's full right here in this yellow pages. A bunch of interrupt just because it's on the page, and then it says call for a free estimate. Or here's our website, and the website's crap. And the website's no website sells to anybody anyway. Very few business owners know how much revenue comes in from their business, how many leads come in from their website. So when you interrupt, in order to do this properly, you interrupt, then you engage them. Now your interrupt is your headline. The headline is what gets their attention. So there's 2 questions that are going on in the prospect's mind. And the whole trick for this is to enter the conversation taking place in your prospect's mind at the time that they are having that conversation, or you interrupt them. The interrupt is the headline. There's 2 questions that's going on in their mind. One is they have a problem that they don't want, and there's a solution they want but they don't have. The problem that they don't want is the headline, and I'll get into an example here in just a minute. And the solution that they want is the subheadline. That's going to engage them. So the interrupt is the headline, the engage is the subheadline. Then once you engage them enough to say, okay, if I keep reading or listening to this ad, then I'm going to get some more information about what it is I'm looking for. So you have to educate them a little bit in a video or in some ad copy or something of that nature. Enough to where when they see your offer, they're going to accept your offer. And your offer generally has nothing to do with them purchasing your service or product at that point in time. Remember, all they're looking for is education. So the offer should be more education, a 60-second video series, a short report, a idea guide. If somebody's looking for new to remodel their kitchen, what do you want when you're looking to remodel your kitchen? If I want if I want to put an outdoor kitchen in my backyard, I want an idea guide. I want to know what kind of cool gadgets and what kind of cool stoves, refrigerators, cabinetry, covers, all that kind of stuff. I want to know what's out there and I want to see it. So if I see the offer for an idea guide, I'm going to download that sucker. Or I might even put in my mailing address and have them send me a pamphlet, send me a booklet, right? That's the offer, so that you can get more information. And here's the other thing. The offer may or may not be about your business specifically. The offer could be about just your industry in general. For instance, top 7 things to look for before hiring an HVAC technician, or 3 things to consider before hiring a moving company. I got a perfect example. So this moving company, some of our partners a while back was doing they were at a little kind of a conference type of thing, and a live event. And after the event, this lady came up to them and said, "Hey, look, I have an ad. It's got to go into the yellow pages." And she had an ad in the yellow pages. All the moving companies and attorneys have ads in these yellow pages. And she said, "I have to have the ad in tomorrow. It's $3,000 for the subscription into the yellow pages. And if I don't have the ad in tomorrow, I'm bankrupt." All right. And she's already paid for the ad, $3,000. It's a lot to advertise in this book. So the team sat down with her. They revamped her ad, and literally overnight, within a couple of days, she started getting more and more and more leads. And I forget exactly what the numbers are, but she went from basically 14 leads, 14 actual jobs a month, to over 176 jobs. She got so much business that she had to hire 4 competitors in her area to help her, and they did a joint venture. So she was getting some money back off of that, but they were helping her, and they ended up buying her out 9 months later for $1.2 million. That's the power of the conversion equation. That's how important it is to educate. And what she did was they changed her ad from just a typical, a picture of a truck. We are bonded and certified. We're insured. We care about your stuff, and we will move from one place to the other. All this stuff is like, I would hope so. That's what I expect you to do. And changed it to an ad that basically said, the top 10 things to consider before hiring your next moving company. Actually, here's what the headline said. This was in Dallas, and the headline said something to the effect of, if there were 100, and don't quote me on the number, but 187 lawsuits against moving companies in the Dallas area last year. And then it said, that was the headline, that's going to get your attention. And then I was like, oh, wow. And then the subheadline was, these are the 10 questions you must ask before you hire your next moving company. And they were all listed on there on a whole page of the yellow pages, and didn't even mention her business whatsoever. But guess what the other thing they had was a report over on the side, where they had already done a report of all of the differences of all the moving companies in the area, and did the homework for the prospect, and basically built that like, know, and trust off of one page, off of one ad in the yellow pages. And now we've got the internet, and we can do the internet just the same way. That's the power of the conversion equation. Now, going back to this whole idea of you talking to 1% as opposed to the 99%, say for instance, an IT company that does business to business type of software or type of service. If you're connecting with, you're doing your marketing, and you're saying, hey, we got this service, this service, this service, this is basically what we do. That's what you're marketing, and that's what's on your ad. And it's got all these beautiful software pictures and videos and all this kind of stuff. But there's a whole 99% of the group out there, the business owners out there, that don't know that they need your service. They have no idea what your service can do for them. So how do you reach them? The way you reach them is you put out ads that say something like, not just increase lead generation, but conversions. Here's one of the biggest problems I have in a conversation with HVAC companies. They can't get good employees, and they can't keep their good employees. They have a leadership issue, and they have other internal issues. So some of this software can help with that type of problem, but they're not expressing that in their marketing. And if they would, then they would be able to have that conversation with those business owners that don't even know that they exist and don't even know that that type of service would help them in their business. If anybody's kind of getting some of this, you can comment. But what I'm getting when I have these conversations with business owners is they're just not getting the concept. They're not getting the idea. And they're totally missing the point on why you should stop just you. And by the way, by talking to the 99%, you're still going to attract the 1%. You're going to build relationships with them. So this is the type of folks that I work with, primarily chiropractors and contractors. It's so easy to work with them because they don't understand the marketing and business sides of this. So I want to throw it out there to you guys. That's why I'm putting it out here on this video, on this live feed, so that I'm helping you guys out get an understanding of how this works and why it works. If you want more information about what I do and how I do it, just get in contact with me. I'd love to have a conversation with you, do about a 15-minute call, see what your biggest business related issue is, and then we can have a conversation and see how I can find a solution for your business related problem. All right, that's all I got for you today. I'm out. Thanks everybody for jumping on. I will talk to you all later. Aloha.